Hey guys, so this is the QP.4 retest for our Q4 interim. This is about our area. So this covers our area unit, our area lessons. So if you want to take out those notes as well, that would help you. But let's kind of just get into these 4 questions. You might have missed all of them. You might have just missed 2. It's kind of up to you, but I'm still going to go through all of them. You still need to complete all of them. So you should also have on your desk that formula sheet, a reference sheet, technically the front side. Not all of it's going to be super useful for you right now. The main things that are useful for us is that surface area formulas, and then the back side is super awesome for us. Kind of helps us with everything. With area, we're really only going to need these 3, I believe. We might not even need all of them, but we have an area of the circle, we have an area of rectangle, and we have an area of a triangle. So let's kind of go back to the questions and see if we need one of those or so. Okay? So going through these questions, number 9 was the first one. The area of a rectangle is 930 square inches. The length of the rectangle is 70 inches. What is the width of the rectangle? Okay, like I said, we're talking about area, so let's find the area of that rectangle on the back side of that reference sheet. So the area of the rectangle tells us right here, A equals length times width. So let's write that. The hardest part about math is that we are not plugging in the values in the correct spot. A stands for area, L stands for length, W stands for width. The area is 630. So 630 needs to go into the A spot. A stands for area. So 630 equals length is the same thing as our L is 70. And I don't know what my width is. Multiply by the width. It's just a basic one-step equation. Well, to get the 70 times W away from the W, we need to divide. So in our calculators, all we need to be doing is putting 630 divided by 70 in the calculator, which should get us 9. The width is 9. Another idea, you could have just plugged in all these values into the equation for the length and the width. The length was 70. The width was either one of these values, and see which one got us that 630. It's completely up to you. It's the same idea. Let's try number 10 now. What is the area of a regular pentagon above? Well, it's a regular pentagon, and on that reference sheet, pentagon has 5 sides, but on my reference sheet, I have 0 sides, 4 sides, and 3 sides. Well, that's not going to help, but let's kind of look at what we've got. They give us a side length of that pentagon, and they give us the apothem. Remember, apothem is where from the center of the shape all the way to the center of my side that forms a right angle is my apothem. Well, remember the formula we use for apothem, a regular polygon, any polygon. I'm going to do the apothem times perimeter of the shape divided by 2. So the apothem, it already tells us, is 5.1, but the perimeter, that's not 7.5. 7.5 is a side length. Well, they are all the same length because it's a regular. So what you could do is say 7.5 plus 7.5 plus 7.5 plus 7.5 plus 7.5, but we could also say 7.5 times 5 divided by 2. There you go. So if we just plug this exactly into the calculator, 5.1, the apothem, times 7.5 times 5 to get our perimeter, divided by 2, we should get 996 units. Awesome. Let's try the next 2. A square X has a side length of 12 centimeters. Just going to draw that square. Remember, square has all the same sides, which is wonderful about them. The perimeter of square Y is 2 times the perimeter of square X. Well, this is square X. Well, the y is going to be twice as much. Twice as much, okay? What is the length in centimeters of one side of the new guy right here? Okay, well, we gotta figure out what the perimeter, because we're talking about comparing our perimeters of this guy. Well, perimeter, we're just adding up all the sides. So the perimeter of x, 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, or multiplying by 4, because they're all the same, is 48. Okay, well, it's just the formula saying the side length times the number of sides. Okay, well, if I know that the new one has to be 2 times as much, well, 48 times 2 should get me, what is that, 696? I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. So 96 should be the perimeter of all those sides, but I've got to find the side length. Side length times the number of sides I've got, which is 4. It's a square. Well, just like what we just talked about on number 9, let's get that s by itself. Let's get that variable that I'm solving for by itself. So divide by 4, which makes sense because if all the sides have to be the same, we got to put that 46 into even groups, just like what we were doing with this guy. 48, if I divided it by 4, because there's 4 even sides, I'd get 12. It's the same concept, just more in that algebraical speaking. So you get s by itself over here. 96 divided by 4 should give me 24. So 24 is the side length. But it's neat to think about that 24 is also twice as big as 12. Because if I add numbers together, it doesn't matter if I'm adding them or doing what type of operation. If I'm saying that a size of something is twice as big, everything is going to change in that manner. The side lengths, the area, the perimeter, which is super helpful. So, I'm getting tired. Sorry, guys. The side lengths also doubled as well. So you didn't need to have to do all this work to just know, well, if I have a side length that's 12 and the new perimeter is twice as big, well, the sides have to be twice as big as well to get a twice as big number. So 12 times 2 is 24, which 24 would be the answer. We got one more, okay? One more is 12. It says, which of the following expressions is equal to the area of the rectangle? Okay, well, we just talked about the area of the rectangle is length times width. So let's do that. Let's write that down over here. And go down here. All right, well, the length we'll say is at 4x plus 3. And then the width is 2x plus 2. Well, I don't see any answers that have my parentheses right here, so I probably have to do my foiling. We've talked about this before, where it's called a double distribution, where you did this in Algebra 1. We take our first term and we multiply it to every term in the second one, and we have to do it, it's called a double, because we are doing it again with that 3. So the 3 should be multiplied with that 2x and the 2 as well. I saw some people doing this on the quiz or on the test, and I was like, this is beautiful. Well, let's do that multiplication down here. So 4x times 2x is 8x squared, because x times x is x squared. 4x times 2 is 8x. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 2 is 6. Well, I can combine some terms as well. So I've got 8x and 6x gives me 8x squared plus 14x plus 6. Can't combine any other terms because they're not alike. So looking back at our answer choices, looks like D is our correct one. So are you doing again? It doesn't matter if I don't have numbers. We are still wanting to make sure that everything gets multiplied together. Every term, that 4x plus 3 is representing the entire length. And then that 2x plus 2 is representing the entire width. So we cannot separate them apart. Remember, putting parentheses around things is honestly the best thing we can do. Right? Even if it's just one term, if it's 2 terms, if it's 100 terms, we should put parentheses around everything. All right, so again, if you have any questions, let me know before you get the code, but once you have all this written down and I've seen that you watched the video and paid attention, I'll get you the code. All right, bye guys.